learners, we strive for academic excellence, support our peers, and make a meaningful impact on our campus and beyond. Our achievements are a testament to the hard work, dedication, and passion of our members who embody the spirit of scholarship and service. Thank you all for being here today as we celebrate the mission and values of Phi Theta Kappa. We look forward to continuing this tradition of excellence together. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Cindy Trussell to the microphone to deliver this year's keynote address.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. My name is Cindy Trussell, and as Casey just said, I'm a professor of biological sciences here. And I want to start by congratulating each and every one of the inductees on this particular achievement. As Casey mentioned, earning a spot in Phi Theta Kappa is no small feat. It's a testament to your hard work, to your dedication, and to your commitment to your education. On a little bit of a side note, Jacelyn mentioned to me that some of you are particularly interested in the bling that you might get to wear when you finally get to graduation. And so I wanted to mention that these honor cords will certainly look impressive if and when you make it to graduation, but they also represent something much, much deeper. They represent the opportunities for growth and for leadership that Phi Theta Kappa actually provides you. I would like for each of you to think about some of the challenges that you've overcome. Balancing school with jobs and family life often isn't very easy, especially when you live in a place like Kodiak and it rains a lot and you'd rather just stay in bed instead of going to class, but you all have gone to class, you've tackled your homework, you've spent time with your families on top of everything else. So you've overcome those challenges and things I can't even imagine that you might have overcome. And you've also maintained particularly high academic achievement, right? So what did you say? Casey, is 3.87? That's pretty fantastic. And that takes an incredible amount of focus and discipline. So I learned something new this week because this is the spirit of continuous learning, and your dedication helped me learn about a particularly remarkable story about the perseverance of a notable Alaskan. And I chose a notable Alaskan where it's really timely right now. So if you're a fan of the Iditarod, you might already be familiar with the story of Susan Butcher. I think her story emphasizes the value of dedication to learning. Remember that the Iditarod is about an 1,152-mile race across Alaska in March, which doesn't sound like so much fun. The race begins on Monday. And this year, because of the lack of snow in Anchorage, this is just a little other side note, it's actually going to start in Fairbanks this year versus Anchorage, but they'll still do the ceremonial start in Anchorage. All right, so back to Susan's story. She wasn't born into a life of dog mushing. In fact, she was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts, which is just near Boston. And she started doing some dog mushing when she went, mushing when she went to college, and she went to Colorado State University to be a vet tech. After school, she desperately knew that she wanted to continue racing dogs, and so she moved to Wrangell, Alaska. While she had lots to learn, she didn't have to do it alone. She had a mentor and a friend, and his name was Joe Reddington, and he started the Iditarod. And so I think that this represents and highlights the importance of all of us as learners and students to find support and mentors in knowing that there's somebody out there who will provide guidance, support, and also make sure you make some friends along the way as well, because they can be really helpful. Susan raced her first Iditarod back in 1978. It took her 16 days, 15 hours, 40 minutes, and 30 seconds. And I sincerely hope that none of your homework has taken you that long. Because that's also without sleeping for most of the time. And then 2 years later, after that first race, she finished 19th. 2 years later, she finished in the top 5 and continued to do so until 1984. And then she hit a little hiccup, maybe more than a little hiccup. In 1985, when she was running the race, she was in the early stages, she was sort of in the lead still, things were going well, and then a sick and dying moose actually blundered onto the path where she was, and really sadly, 2 of her dog sled team dogs died in the encounter. Others were injured, and she was completely out of the race. yet, and here's the perseverance part for knowing that, she did good things. The following year, she returned, and it's the first year that she won the Iditarod. During the course of her career, she got first place 4 times and placed in the top 12 different times that she ran the race. And so no other musher in the state of Alaska has had that much of a dominance in the race. Her training, which this is something that we can all relate to, her training was quite legendary. She would spend hours every single day training her dogs. She would run them through all kinds of Alaskan terrain, from mountains to forests to frozen lakes, and even on streets with the historical start or the ceremonial start to the Iditarod. And she and her mentor even took a sled dog team up to the top of Denali at one point, which is pretty crazy to think about. I know, right? And as students, I see this as being akin to your taking your anthropology classes, your English classes, your art appreciation classes, because you're doing all of these different things all in this really short period of time, just like she was training in all those different types of terrain. She also had to be concerned with building both her endurance and the dog's endurance, as well as strength and resilience. And these 3 qualities are particularly needed for students. To see not just one course from beginning to end, which you all know can be quite challenging, especially at about this point in the semester, it's not very much fun, but also to get through things like the entire series of math classes that you might have to take. You might have to take 054, and then 055, and then 105, and then maybe 151. And also, then you're thinking about getting from the beginning of your academic career all the way to graduation. So there's lots of different parts that you have to get through. And so hopefully something as traumatic as a moose will not get in your way. But not everything will go as planned usually. Something will happen. And so these qualities of endurance, strength, and resilience should help see you through and get you back on task when something goes wrong. So I think that Susan's story is a reminder of the incredible feats possible when you push your limits and believe in yourself. And in 2008, the state legislature established Susan Butcher Day to be the first Saturday in March each year, which is the ceremonial start. And so tomorrow is Susan Butcher Day. So I thought this was a particularly good time for us to talk about her. I mentioned at the beginning that Phi Theta Kappa offers its inductees some really good opportunities for growth and leadership. And I wanted to give you an example of a program that I learned about. So this is a little bit more of my learning. So there's a program called Honors in Action, which some of you might have read about already. And this initiative is designed for PTK students to engage in activities that encourage success through scholarship. It fosters a vibrant exchange of ideas and cultivates leadership skills to bring a benefit to your community. So something that would help Kodiak. Each year, Phi Theta Kappa selects a theme on which students focus their Honors in Action projects. This year, the theme is Power of Stories, and there's 8 different ways to think about that, which I looked through them and it was kind of exciting. Tonight, you have become part of a legacy of excellence, and I challenge you to write your own chapter in your story. Get involved in the Honors in Action, where you can use your talents to serve our community. Or seek out mentors, or share your experiences, or amplify the power of your own stories. Let your journey inspire others, just as Susan Butcher's story inspires us today. So please become the leaders and storytellers our community needs.